A lot of the things I liked about the States have gotten a little out of hand. America, get your shit together.
You have no plans to live in America again?
No, it's not happening.
If you just sat me in America right now, I would be so lost, and it's like my native country. I'd feel like a foreigner.
I consider myself an Oreo. Black on the outside, Japanese on the inside.
You didn't leave after the earthquake.
I've already decided I'm not going to be leaving Japan, and these are our people.
We always hear about the millions of immigrants trying to move to the United States, but what about Americans that have left? There are over 100,000 of us living in Japan right now, and some of us have decided to make Japan our permanent home. So today we're going to be delving into this topic by interviewing different Americans who have decided to settle in Japan permanently. Let's get started.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Max Gonzalez. I'm from San Diego, California, and I have lived in Japan for 13 years. Yeah, I work at a travel agency now. It's actually out in Minato-ku. I can actually see the Tokyo Tower from my office, and that's pretty awesome.
Are you a weeb?
Absolutely not, actually. I am actually the farthest thing away from a weeb. No, I'm not. I don't even watch as much anime as other guys.
I'm John Daub. I have a channel called Only in Japan. Originally, I'm from the United States on the East Coast, but I've been in Japan for this is my Japaniversary month, so 27 years. My image of America kind of stopped around 1998 with Joey Tribbiani and Monica and Rachel. So when I do go back, there's so many cultural shifts that I don't even know about.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Marcel Jonte Gaston, and I am a pastor here in Japan, and I've been here for 26 years. Yeah, I'm American, but I don't have an address in America because I'm a military brat, as they say. So my dad was in the military, and that's how I ended up in Japan at age 13. And this is the longest place I've ever lived in my life because I was born in Germany, moved from Germany to Texas, from Texas moved to Maryland, from Maryland moved to Japan, and Japan's the longest places I've been. So where am I from?
Military life. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Paul, and I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin. I've been in Japan for 20 years, and I live in Yokohama, where we are today. When I first moved here, my intention was to actually go back to the States after a year or two. I never intended to stay in Japan, and it just clicked with me that something really suited me about this country, and I ended up going back to the States for grad school, but I did that in order to come back to Japan and pursue this university teaching.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Gretchen. I was born in New York, but I grew up in West Virginia, and I've been in Tokyo for almost 10 years, and I'm a kindergarten teacher and salsa dancer. Hi.
What are some of the benefits of living in Japan?
I just kind of fell in love with just like how safe it is, convenient, the train. I can just literally go anywhere in Japan right now if I wanted to. Shinkansen, but in America, I just you need a car or you're just trapped. If something happened where I got stuck in America, they're like, oh, Americans, you can't leave America now. If something like that happened or World War III and I'm stuck in America, I would be devastated.
So what makes Japan so great? You came here, and why do you stay?
I don't even know why I came. I was just an adventurer, and I came here because I'd been traveling around the world after finishing college. I had a roommate here who said, "You got to come to Japan." I don't quite know why exactly I came here, but why I stayed is because I just fell in love with the country.
You didn't leave after the earthquake.
Those that left were called fly genes. They're, I would say 90% of and for good reason. We didn't know about radiation, what was happening. Things are coming into the city of Tokyo. It wasn't a test. This was a time where Japan needed help the most. Those that stayed in Japan really tried to volunteer. We used our own money, rented cars, did food runs up to Fukushima, to Miyagi, to try to get food to people. These are our people.
What do you love so much about life in Japan?
How much time do you have? It's don't get me wrong, I love America, and I had a wonderful time growing up there, and I love visiting. I have so many friends and family there that I want to see, and I want them to come visit me here. It's just that a lot of the things I liked about the States have gotten a little out of hand. And I guess if we're talking about one of the things that really keeps me here is the fact that I can just live an ordinary life, kind of separated from politics and separated from hard issues that I may not want to lose friends over. But certainly with politics, especially the way things seem so polarized these days, where you have to be representative of some tribe or another. Not a big fan of that myself. It's another reason why I like being here, because I don't have to get into uncomfortable conversations or situations. And I think I've become very Japanese in that regard.
What makes Japan so great? Why do you love it here so much?
After being here, I could not imagine wanting to live anywhere else.
Even after 13 years, you're not bored.
13 years later, I am not bored at all. Eating Japanese food, going and getting sushi or yakiniku, that's awesome for me. Just getting on the train and going around and exploring Tokyo is just like a friggin' awesome day out for me. I like being here. I like learning Japanese. I like speaking Japanese. I like Tokyo. There's still so much of this country I've never seen. It's like I am in this place that I wanted to be in so long. I like to think no matter what, I would have come to Japan somehow.
So you feel like Japan is more your home than the US?
Yes. Yes. I consider myself an Oreo, black on the outside, Japanese on the inside. So it's weird because when I go back to the States, I feel like a double foreigner. You know, I'm already a foreigner in Japan, but when I go back to the States, I'm like, whoa, they're not bowing to me. Or, I mean, the politeness, the attention to detail here in Japan is really good. The care for other people, you know, the kizukai, kind of what the Japanese call, you know, that's what makes it really comfortable for me.
What made you decide to be a pastor here in Japan?
I felt a calling to Japan. I felt like, oh man, I gotta preach the gospel. I want to share with the Japanese people who Jesus is. I want to share with the Japanese people about life and about hope.
So what's good about the Japanese lifestyle that's better than the US?
When you sit down in a restaurant, you get what I call a human-sized portion of food. When you sit down at a restaurant in the States, maybe it was normal when I lived there, but now when I go back, I think, how does anyone eat this? And am I pressured to eat it now, or do I have to do the doggy bag? Not having soda or like chocolate milk and all the other like energy drinks and things like that. And I pretty much drink unsweetened teas exclusively now. So that's another thing I think that helps people stave off obesity, not having high calorie drinks.
Do you gain weight every time you go back home?
Oh, I totally did. Like even one of my friends was noticing, geez, Max, you got a gut. It's like, I swear it wasn't there before I got here.
I always gain like 5 pounds when I go back to America and lose it when I come back here because the portion sizes are so much smaller in Japan.
The food is not full of, junk in it. And then you go back to America, it's like, yeah, all the food tastes great, but it's full of stuff that make you regret eating it.
I noticed this one thing. All right, this is controversial, but people in the United States are way bigger than they were 25 years ago.
Oh, really?
It's become almost normal to be quite large.
Yeah.
And in Japan, we don't see that. You go to McDonald's and everybody is it's almost unusual to see everybody in fairly petite and pretty good shape, and they're only eating a couple of fries and, maybe a cheeseburger, not taking more than they need. And you go to the United States and
the portion sizes.
It's not just the portion size. Everything is bigger in America.
Also, do you feel safer here in Japan than you did in the US, walking around, walking at night, protecting your stuff?
In terms of just walking on the street, obviously Japan is very, very safe, but compared to where I grew up, it wasn't, New York City or something like that. So they feel comparable in that regard, but definitely for theft.
I think we're so desensitized to theft in the US, and I grew up with that. I just thought it was normal. My father is the most unlucky guy in the US. He had 4 cars stolen, hijacked in downtown Detroit and Hamtramck. And I grew up with that. I'm just like, oh yeah, people steal cars. That's normal. 4 times. That's normal.
Like I can be walking home from my local station at any time of night and I feel zero fear. Like in America, I always have that in the back of my mind, that fear. I have to be looking around, but I can be walking home. I can be a little tipsy, sleepy, whatever at any time. And I feel zero fear. Like even if there's like some guy walking, I don't feel like fight or flight kind of in me. But in America, I always felt that no matter where, in the big city, in the small town, like everywhere, I always had that fear. I don't have that here.
Yeah, I feel safer as a female walking around Japan at night than I would in my hometown for sure. So you went back to America recently. How expensive have things gotten?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like it's just gotten ridiculous. We have this one little burger place called a Jack in the Box, and that was like $15-20. It's like this is not a $15 or $20 burger joint.
Fast food's expensive now. Even tipping, like the tipping culture has changed since we left.
The culture has changed because when I left in 1998, you tipped based on the quality of the service, and you would say, okay, this person did a great job, I'm going to get 15%, which was the norm.
Yeah, it has gone up in percentage too. I remember 20% was a normal tip. Now it's 25%.
Dare I say, it's like a right.
Is entitlement.
It's entitlement. That's the word. And I don't see that that's what tipping is all about, because my mind stopped in 1998. How did we get to where we were to where we are now? And Japan has stayed the same and been able to sustain that. US is really expensive.
And you have a house and a mortgage. How much cheaper is it to buy a house in Japan compared to the US?
It's like they're giving away money when it comes to the loan rates. Honestly, in terms of what we pay monthly, it's exactly the same as when we were renting an apartment. And the loan rate is something like 1 point something percent. So yeah, it's crazy.
Do you think you could afford this lifestyle in the US?
I really doubt it.
Growing up here,
Yeah.
you stand out. You don't look like the people around you. So what was it like doing that as a young kid, in your teens?
Yeah, it was kind of hard to get used to because I wasn't used to people staring at me. I remember going to Disney, standing in the line, and some children was like, "Oh, Kokujin." They said Kokujin, and I was just learning Japanese, so I was like, "I know what he just said."
Back then, people would just see you and say, "That's a black guy." Just
Yep.
blurt it
They
out.
just blurt it out. Children would just blurt it out, or I'd be standing in a line at the store, and kids would just be looking at me. When I was young, I did not realize that when you get on the train, there's like a line that you have to wait on the side to get in. I was just standing in the middle, and I just went in, and I remember this Japanese man. I'm like 13 years old. I'm traumatized by this. He grabbed me from my shoulder and yanked me back, and I felt like, is this like, I don't know, is this like normal, or is this like because I'm a foreigner, or so it really kind of shook me up. And in fact, I wrote a book about this called "The Reason Why I'm Black," because I used to be an English teacher at an international preschool, and we were going outside, and I was taking the kids, and the girl was like, "Mr. MJ, why are you black?" She asked me the question, "Why am I black?" And I've never heard that in my life. So the only answer I could think of is just like, if all the flowers in the world were the same color, flowers would be boring, right?
Like a lot of people come up and just like touch my hair and like ask me where I'm from and stuff and stare at me.
Why do they do that?
I don't know, because it's curly and fluffy. And then my students, they always like want to touch my hair, but they're kids. I'm like, you guys don't see this kind of curly hair very often. So go ahead, knock yourself out. Just don't pull it. Don't white boogers on it.
So when like you're saying, people, total strangers on the street come up and say, "Can I touch your hair?" Or they just touch it?
They usually ask. I don't know. Honestly, I was like, you know what? New experience for you. Go ahead.
What was the worst experience you've had in Japan as a foreigner after 30 years?
I guess it was back in 2008, 9. I did some auditions, and there was a producer director, and I think I killed it. I did a really good job. They brought me in specifically for this part, but then he literally told me, "Look, I'm sorry, we're looking for a white guy." He said, "I wish you were white for this part." Look.
Whoa.
All right, I'd already been in Japan for like 20 years, so I didn't get upset about it, but I was a little bit shocked at first. For like 5 seconds, the American me said, I really wanted, and then I checked myself and I look, he knows what he wants. What could I do about it? There's nothing I can do. Look, you're going to have bad experiences in Japan, but how happy you are in a place wherever you call home will be your threshold for tolerance. You can't anger in this country. I don't know if you've noticed this. The moment you get angry and you lose control, you've lost. Yeah. Nobody wants to deal with you. Everyone avoids confrontation here. Do the opposite was to be really nice, to be complimentary, to take it on the chin and show them that they're wrong, not by my anger, but by my actions.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm going to get hired in the next job, or maybe they're going to be able to work with me in the future. I don't know. But if I'm angry and I show that uncontrolled, that means I don't understand Japanese culture and I'm more of a liability than an asset in the future. So when you think about it, there's really no future if you want to live here, and you don't really understand that unless you can speak the language and you start to understand.
Why do you think they keep giving you only 1-year visas?
That is a great question. That's one that I would like to know. I mean, I have an N2. I have like a grown-up job. I got the social insurance. I got everything. What am I missing, immigration?
And it's very annoying to renew these. You have to go into the immigration office 2 times and wait about 3 hours each time.
You need to have at least a 3-year visa before they will consider you for permanent residency, regardless of how long you've been here.
Hopefully, you'll get that soon.
Hopefully next year will be the year.
How about healthcare? How is healthcare in Japan versus the US?
So I remember one time I got pneumonia in America and it was really bad. I didn't know how bad it was. It was like a cold and I was like, no, I'm not going to go to the doctor. It's fine. It'll get better on its own. And I just kept putting it off until I literally had pneumonia. I literally could not eat or sleep and I had to go to the hospital. And then the bill was like $700. I'm like, but now here, if I get a cold, like I still have that natural American feeling of, oh, it's fine. I can just wait. But everyone's like, just go to the doctor. Why aren't you going to the doctor? I'm like, yeah, why am I not going to the doctor? I can just pay for it easily.
How does the healthcare system in Japan compare to the US?
It seems really easy here because you can just rock up to a clinic and go in, even if you've never been there before, fill out a couple of forms and they'll see you. When I was in the US for grad school and we came back to Japan to visit, I didn't have any insurance because I wasn't living here at the time. And I joined my basketball group that I used to play with when I lived out in Yamanashi Prefecture, and I hurt my knee during this basketball game. So I go to the hospital the next day because I couldn't sleep all night. The pain was that bad. And doctor visit, x-rays, pain medication cost 8,000 yen. And I don't have insurance. 8,000 yen with no insurance. And I was thinking, it seems like the issue is not whether you have insurance or not. It's just that you need insurance to pay for anything in America.
The healthcare, I mean, just wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's a good thing about being here. They don't kick people out of the hospital really quickly. Even after they've just given birth in the US, it's kind of like, okay, goodbye. They take care of you in Japan. They'll put you somewhere to recover for a week or so. And then your son's case, they let him stay there for a very long time. And I know in the US, there's no way.
Joshua was in the hospital for over a month. Yeah. And that surprised the doctors, first of all. They said, well, that's a miracle, first of all, that he's around that long. And they took very good care of him. And through his life, so many people's lives were changed, including doctors, including even before his birth. And it's really mysterious and miraculous. And so I felt really led to share his story to the world.
Yeah, last year when your son got sick and you were in the hospital with him, I was really impressed with the Japanese healthcare system.
So he went to heaven. So he was only in this world for 1 year and 11 months. And so that's one of the other reasons why I'm here in Japan, because I feel like Japanese people, I mean, all people can really be really touched and find encouragement in tough times and also hope for the future in eternity through a visiting angel. So shout out to Jojo, my baby boy.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. That's a really deep story.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't realize probably is that you're the one behind all the homeless videos. You're the one that had those connections, and he's been working with the homeless here in Japan for 15 years. And if it weren't for Marcel, none of these videos would have been made. It's because of his connections.
Wow. You know, and thank you, Alyssa, and also for your help and your support with that mission.
So if you want to donate to this grassroots charity that I'm working with, he's managing, go into the video description and donate to Akirame Nai. It's a small group and you'll know exactly where the help is going. All right. Well, if anyone wants to follow you, where can they find you on YouTube?
My channel name is Xchapter, EXJAPTER, and I also have Instagram as well. I put out a new video every single week, so it's just me talking about things that I'm interested in talking about life in Japan.
Thank you. And if people want to follow you on social media, if they don't already know your channel, where can they follow you?
Only in Japan.
Only in Japan, John Dobb. He is an OG here in the Japan YouTube community. I've known him for a long time, but this is our first time working together. Thank you so much. So if people want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Tokyo Dancer Doll. I think you can find both, no spaces.
Okay, go follow Gretchen online. And thank you so much for your time. Well, thank you so much for your time, Max. I appreciate it. Max is a friend of mine and Tommy's. We go back quite a while.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Anytime, anytime. We'll see you around. Bye-bye. I love this. So Japanese.
Congrats on making it to the very end of this wholesome video. Pay us back with a like. Remember, I'm trying to get to 2 million subscribers by the end of this year, so help make that happen. And in the meantime, enjoy some other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.